Guten Abend.
Guten Abend, Michael. And we have a guest. Hi, Thomas.
Hi, nice to be with you two guys.
One even in person. Yeah,
Today you say two's a party, three's a crowd in the UK. So we have a crowd. Makes it more fun.
It makes it more fun. And we did discuss and decide some cool stuff, which we will announce within the next, let's say, 6, 7, 8 days. And cool things are going to happen. So, and look at that, Dave. We have Frank, Thunderbird, Birded from Münster, Bart, Drumby C, David Lawrence, Sasha, Daniel, Jeremy. Dom, hey, nice to see you. Where is Dom? Here is Dom. Fabio, William, so nice to see you. Yeah, Tom is with me here in Düsseldorf for the next 3 days. And we will do, of course, a lot of nonsense. But not only nonsense, but some nonsense, and listen to music. We share a little bit what we've listened to today. And yeah, as I said at the beginning, we discussed things of the OBC and things we will do and things we will change and things we will improve. But this is stuff for another video, but it will be cool. Dave.
Yeah.
How have your days been?
Well, I had a bit of a rough week, as I told you. On Wednesday, one of our dogs passed away, and it was been quite a rough 3 days since Wednesday.
But, it's like a family member, right?
It is, yeah. Of course it is. They are. You know, she was 9 years old, so maybe a little bit. You know, she had probably had an underlying condition. It all happened very quickly in the night. But yeah, you know, it's tough. It's hard. You know, everybody. We must soldier on. You know, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it's dogs. I mean, look, Michael, you know dogs, don't you? You've got your boys, yeah.
You know, sometimes when I imagine that moment when I'm lying in the bed before I sleep, I have tears in my eyes just by the thought of that might happen one day. And
how old
don't
are your
laugh.
dogs? No, how old are your dog? I'm just curious.
7 years. Both are 7.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, it's tough, you know. It is, but you know, it's part of life, isn't it? You have to get used to these things. So.
You have to be aware of it when you buy a dog. But
yeah, it's true. It's part of it. You know, you're taking on the responsibility. You know, and that responsibility is across a whole, you know, thing. So yeah, including of life. So yeah. Hey, we soldier on, and I'll just say I did yesterday. It's good to keep busy. So yesterday I went to the big London, the biggest record fair in London at Victoria at the Royal Agricultural Halls. And
Dave, who cares about records fair right now?
Sorry?
Who cares about records fairs right now? We want to know what beer you are drinking first. Dave.
I can't have a Sunday evening without having at least a very decent beer. So I'm having this is a Daya beer. Yeah, I mean I always use the branded glasses now, so you know what I'm drinking. It's good because
but this looks like it's not clear at all, right?
Yeah, you can't see through it. It's totally they call this a hazy pale ale. So yeah, whereby you know it's unfine. So you know, like a lager that is clear, that's fine. Basically, they get rid of all the bits.
Yeah.
You know, all the stuff that makes it look like this. So you could sort of say this is like a very organic version. You know, it's all the goodness kept in there.
All the important stuff.
Yeah.
So sorry for the interrupt. So you went for a record.
Yes, I went to the Victoria, the Royal Agri. It's a great fair. I've been going there years. I mean, I remember that fair. I'd say 25 years ago. I've been going to that fair, and you always you always find some nice things. And I had my OBC hat on yesterday. Very much so.
You don't have an OBC hat. You don't.
I might get one for Christmas. But anyway, I was going round and I picked up some really nice things. You know, I went heavy yesterday, saw some stuff, and I was thinking, you know, and it was also with my whole curation side, the sort of stuff that I was buying for myself, but I was buying for the OBC. So yeah, so I'll show a few things that I got. Yeah, I'll start. And you know, we've covered Sabbath so much, but I love it when I find nice copies, and I found a lovely copy of the self-titled. Now, this is not the Philips record product one, but it's the one that came out the same year. You know, it's a large.
Okay, the one with probably the same stampers, right?
Oh, Michael, it's exactly the same stamper. The only difference is it doesn't have a Philips. You know, there's some minor textual changes here at the bottom here or inside the gatefold. But you know, the thing was, I saw this copy and I was like, I mean, you can already see that sleeve is really nice. Yeah, it's really clean, and the disc as well. When it's got the original, I'll show you. It's got the. I've been through these. Like,
the dated
the original inner. And you can see the date on there. We'll do the date thing. Look, 1070. So that's October 1970. Yeah. And you know, when I saw the disc, I was like, this is a beautiful copy. It's still got some of the vinyl fragments around the spindle hole. Can you see that?
Yeah. I see that. So those are vinyl fragments, not damages. Okay.
No, not damages. No, it's just little fragments of. You can tell that they've not come off. I mean, the disc itself, you can see here.
Yeah.
It's just really clean. Yeah.
So that's a very good sign then. Yeah.
It's not been played much. Yeah. Okay. You know, it's obvious to me it's not been played. And I put it on and it was lovely. So, you know.
But a little correction, Dave, if I might. Not the same stamper, the same metal parts, because the stamper is
look,
right.
The same. When you get to stampers, you've got to remember how this, you know, how things work. You have a father, and then you grow the mother from it, yeah, and then they do a run on that, you know, and that can vary of how many they do, and then they'll grow another mother, and you know this process happens a lot, yeah. So you know, we the way I look at it is with records like this. You know, I'd put this up against the Philips record product version. And it depends what you're looking for. You know, this is it's got that sort of, the sleeve on this one's different to all the other ones because it's got a slightly weird feel to it. It's very strange. It's not the same. It's not normal hard. It's like a slight texturing. So it's definitely you know, we're talking the year of release, yeah. But an adjustment in the label, it doesn't have that Philips record product text at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about that. We showed that on one of the videos, right?
Is that, yeah.
So is it safe to say, Thomas? Maybe you want to share it. Is it safe to say that the Philips is a collectible thing, not a quality thing?
Yeah, and it's triple the value. That's the difference.
You never see those in Denmark. You never see the Philips ones.
No,
the Philips are super rare. You know, I've only ever, you know, since the start of the OBC, I think I've sourced one, yeah, or two at the most. No, two. I've done two, but you never see. You see more of these, yeah. You see more of that one without the Philips. There's more of those about, but the problem is again, it's all about the condition. You see, I see a few of them, but the condition's always, you know, that was a record that was heavily played. You know, people love that record. So when you find one like that, that's, you know, it's not. I could just see. It hasn't been touched very much. You know, the sleeve didn't show any signs of wear. And I was like, okay, that's a good copy. That's mine, you know. And yeah, they're cool. But yeah, the Philips ones they're rare as hen's teeth over here. And they command very big money compared to that one. So
David, how many of the releases on Vertigo had the Philips on them?
Oh God, that's an interesting question. You know, I don't know the answer to that. But what I would say is I believe that was only at the very start. So we're talking 1969 to late 1970. It didn't go into, I think it even stopped in 1970. So we're only talking probably the first. I think the very first year of Vertigo. Yeah. So we're going from. They started in November 1969. So we're probably just going through to not even a year, because this is October 1970. So it probably didn't even last a year before they took that off the label. So that gives you a bit of an idea. So however many really, I think there was 6 to start with, 7. It's probably even 10 releases. Yeah. But the thing is, the large swirl, we've got people who always want the large swirl. I got I'll roll on to the next label, because the next one I got from the same guy. I got a really nice copy of Volume 4. Nice. Yeah, really nice copy of Volume 4.
By the way, my favorite Black Sabbath jacket.
Yeah, it's great, and this is a proper. This one's a proper first, so it's got all the internal pages. They're all intact, which is always interesting. Great pictures of the band as well on that one, as you can see. Now, importantly, if you look at the text here, you will see it's got an Excellency production, and also we wish to thank the great Coca-Cola Company of Los Angeles. Yeah, and that's the first jacket, right?
Okay. Again, something that is only with the first. So the Coca-Cola thing is only with the first.
All these little minor textual changes you see that you pick up on. Now, it's got the original inner there. Yeah. I'll show you. There's a how you tell a first with this. So this is the third variant of a Vertigo label. So just small swirl with the Vertigo text below it. This is a first edition because for Volume 4, it doesn't have the Made in England text. Yeah. So if it doesn't have that, it's the very first one, right?
Okay. So it should not have it.
Okay. Not have it. The ones that have Made in England are actually a later one. So we're talking sort of similar to the self-titled, With the self-titled, it's the ones. It's funny. It's different way around. It has the Philips.
Yeah, exactly.
Now with this one, it has no Made in England, but the ones that have Made in England are the ones that came out after. And again, you can see it's got a bit of vinyl fragment going on around the center. And again, I'll try and show it, but look, you can see it's just really, really clean. Yeah. So, well, yeah, I was looking at both of these. I'll go, right, I've got to take those because they're just we all want clean Black Sabbath, don't we?
We all. I would love, Dave, I would love to compare the British first against my German first, because the German first is very expensive either. It's a very expensive release, the German first.
How much is German first? Right. I mean, I'm curious.
How much?
I don't see German records over here. They're very rare to find.
I bought a really, really good one. Plays amazing, like new. I paid 520 euros for it.
Yeah, it's big money, isn't it? Yeah.
It's an amazing copy. Amazing copy.
Jason's comment here is very interesting, where he just put, and I would actually totally concur with him on that. When you're talking the first year of release, you're not going to tell a difference between a version of 1 month and another month just because there's been a textual change on the printing of the label. Some of it could be mental. We all like, you put something on and you may be like listening and going, oh, that definitely sounds better. But maybe if you really come down to it, you're not. It's only when you start getting really further down the pressing run, you would maybe start to be able to notice changes. It's an interesting one. Yeah. I've got some other nice things there as well. Just really cool records. Things like this Television, Marquee Moon. Yeah. Real classic album. Of that in 1977, original Elektra, British release Elektra. It's got the original cut, last little die cut card inner with band picture and the lyrics on the other side, and the famous Elektra butterfly label from that 70s era. Yeah. Side 2, or side 1. I'm funny about that. I always like to show side one. You know, if I see side two up there, I have to flip it over and show side one. I don't know what that's about. That's just me. Oh, by the way, sorry, I can't believe it. With that Black Sabbath 4, another very important thing. I just realised it's a Porky cut, Porky Pico. So, you know, yeah, Steve Packham cut that. Yeah, and that's the Porky cut of it is brilliant. Yeah, so that as well. It almost flew out of my mind there, but it came back.
Yeah, those early Black Sabbath, right? They have a myth around it. It's.
I think they all do. I think it's kind of you know, there's a really there's a really good documentary I caught the other night about the album Paranoid, and it was on TV, and I just suddenly spotted it, and I watched it, and it's brilliant. It's really, I mean, I didn't truly appreciate that band, how amazing their rhythm section were, the drummer and the bassist, and I didn't realize it was the bassist that wrote most of the lyrics. Yeah, and you know, it taught me a lot about, you know, about the band and how they operate. But they were very special. You know,
and I can imagine, Dave. I can imagine the name Black Sabbath in the early 70s.
Yeah.
That
yeah. I mean, it must have really raised some eyebrows back then. It was quite out there, but and to think they were all, you know, sort of Birmingham boys, you know, it's quite. It does actually blow my mind. So yeah.
Do you see those Black Sabbath in Denmark, or is it difficult to get them over there?
You see them there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
also the British music?
Yeah, only the British.
Only.
Thing, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's. But it's not like you see them every day.
No,
but,
of course.
I think it's. I mean, Thomas, I think it's probably the same here. You know, it's not like that. There's fountains of them everywhere. You can just. It's not like that these days. You know, they are rare here as well. I mean, I think maybe at that record fair, and that's a big record fair, I maybe only saw three copies of the first album. Like ones like that, you know, a large swirl. I saw a couple of NEMS ones, you know, the reissue ones, and again, the condition wasn't up to scratch. There was only one that I kind of hit my check, ticked all the boxes for me, which was that one. So,
yeah, I was at a record fair yesterday as well, and in Copenhagen.
Right,
I saw maybe 10 of the Black Sabbath. Different ones, but they're all smashed up, and they want too much money for it. So it's you won't find them.
The condition is
yeah, it's different.
I think that's a common thing these days, Thomas. That there's records appear, but the problem is the condition tends to be it's gone down. You know, you're not finding these sort of archive quality copies of things.
That was a big complaint in Den Bosch, by the way, Dave. A lot of people complained about the condition of the records.
Right.
Any Vertigo titles pressed in Denmark? Do you know that?
No, I never seen. No, I don't think so. Oh. But I have a question for you, Dave. It's something else. It's a thing that I've wanted for a long time. Dark Side of the Moon. I have a solid blue. It's only with an A and a B, not A1, B2. It's only an A and a B. And I was heard. Sorry?
There's no number after it.
No. And it's solid blue, and it said made in Great Britain.
Right.
But what I heard is like it was made in Great Britain, but put out for Denmark.
Really?
Yeah. So it came with the posters. No, it didn't come with the posters. Only the postcards.
Interesting. I mean, you know, there's so many versions of things and different pressings. I mean, you know, I got copies of Dark Side of the Moon that were pressed in the USA, but for a different, not for the USA, for the British market, because they're having trouble with capacity over here, you know, because it was such a astonishing album. Everybody wanted it.
Yeah,
and you know, this was a common thing that, you know, they did that with the Beatles, like when they, there's that Decca contract press where they actually went to Decca and got Decca to help press the album. And this happened a lot. And I think what you'll find is maybe, I mean, with Danish records, I've seen some British pressed classical records, but for the Danish market, where they've got all the same stampers and everything. But maybe that's something they did. It's possible, you know. It'd be interesting to have a more detailed look. I mean, can you see what the stamp? You know, where you've got has it got the 1 and the G? You know, where they've got the Gramoff Limited code on the right side. In fact, what you should do, Thomas, is send me some pictures and I'll have a look. But be interesting to see where it sits in the range of stampers. It might give more of an idea, right? You know, so we'll look more into that one. Yeah.
I bought them like 5-6 years ago, and I thought it was the first UK presses.
Well, hey, look,
I didn't know that. It sounds amazing. So I think it's pressed at the same time, but shipped to Copenhagen.
There are very few Dark Side of the Moon that doesn't sound amazing, by the way.
I know what Decca did with their classical. They used to press the American CS versions before they did the British widebands, so they could export them. And it's possible, just possible, that maybe EMI would have done that as well. If they were pressing that for the Danish market, it's possible that it could be a very early in the run, because they would want to get those done and then package up and get them out and shipped, so they could kind of have a synchronized release. I know Decca did this with the CS labels, so they could ship them to America and then they would deal with the British ones. So in fact, you'll find the earliest stampers are always on the American CSs, you know, and they sound amazing. So it's possible that your one could be very early in the run, and then they ship to load over. I don't, you know, we need to look into it.
Yeah.
So I've made it sound interesting now, haven't I?
Yeah, that's good.
Quite possible. So another thing I got yesterday, and a really, really cool album.
The Cure.
And again, you know, I've had, you know, for the last year I've maybe had 4 of these, but this one's got a particularly nice jacket. It's got the proper textured first edition jacket, but it's quite clean. I've noticed this jacket tends to suffer from foxing, where you get this all the brown stippling marks, and this one's really, really clean. Yeah, and it's a first edition strawberry cut as well, so it's really, really well. I'd say, yeah, it's a strawberry mastered. Really, really nice, clean edition, first edition of it.
You know what's funny, Dave? I have a first pressing British first from this record too. I just listened to it last week and I loved it. It's amazing.
It's a great record, isn't it? The music on it is really good.
It's amazing.
I just listened to it this morning. I put it on just after.
I listened to my first UK last week, and I said, "Damn it! You should really. It deserves more attention. This is amazing." Yeah,
it does. I mean, you know, again, you know, Michael, you know, I always look at years. That's 1980, that album, and I think, you know, that, you know, you think 1979, you got Joy Division, Unknown Pleasures, and then The Cure coming with their first album in 1980, and you can sort of hear these sort of, you know, similarities going on, but very good vibe in the music. I mean, The Forest is great. You know, loads of the tracks on that album are great. Really, really good album. I'll show you a couple more. I'm going to show you 2 more that I got, and then I'm going to let you do some stuff, and then I'm going to show you some other things afterwards. But while I was on the theme of The Cure, I got, look, Susie and the Banshees, Hyena. But with you can see that it's got the it's all embossed. Yes. So it's the first jacket embossed all the way round. Nice. Really, really nice. I love the artwork on that.
I love it. It's
really beautiful, isn't it?
And that's happy every time we find it.
Quite again, I listened to this today. I was in that sort of mood, and you know, it's got a lovely picture in there with all the band members. Very Cure-esque, don't you think? Look, that looks like...
Yeah, he is. He played the guitar on that one.
Huh? Was that him?
Is it him?
I go, that looks very Robert Smith. It probably is Robert Smith, right?
Yeah, because I think he played guitar. Yeah, it is Robert Smith.
That one looks like Robert Smith.
That's why you look so Cure-ish.
Hey, in fact, I'm going to have a sip of beer. And look, I'll show you that it's got a cool label. Yeah, look, Wonderland Records. Look at that. I just think that's brilliant.
It is.
It looks like, you know, it's funny. It looks like a Tranco. It's got the label profile characteristic of a Tranco, you know, where with the groove around the edges. It's probably a fillet, you know, a sort of a pressing of that. Yeah, but it's not, you know, it's not transparent, but it feels like a Tranco. That.
Yeah, and again, the condition, Dave. Wow.
Yeah, the condition's beautiful. The condition's beautiful, and it's like just really. Both of those are really sound, really nice. And you know, it's kind of I like to sort of group records. So I was looking at Cure and I go, I want Susie and the Banshees now, you know. And then there we go. And then you even gave me more of a link there, saying, oh, that's Robert Smith.
Somehow he looks like Roger because he is.
No, to be honest with you, I mean, I love the Cure. But I haven't got, you know, the Susie and the Banshees is not a band that I was massively, not because I didn't like, but they weren't a band that I were on my radar, you know. And so, yeah, see, that's that I've learned that now, and I think that's brilliant.
It is for sure. Here we go again. I love it. Yeah, of course.
You can't beat these die-cut sleeves, can you? Orchestral
and I think the record label will hate orchestral maneuvers in the dark for it because it's so expensive.
That would have cost, because that one's complicated. You know, there's all these lozenges that they do on here. You know, it's
and they did it on they did it on Architecture and Morality.
Yeah,
they did it on all of their albums, and they probably hated them for it.
I get the feeling that orchestral maneuvers in the dark were very demanding. Of the record label. So here we go. And again, this is a nice original edition. 1980. See, I like looking at albums, you know. So that came out the same year as that Cure 17 Seconds, you know. So we're looking at 1980 for that. God, that's a long time ago.
And again, we're talking over 40 years here, Dave.
40, yeah, it's over 40 years. It's unbelievable how long that is.
Wow.
Well, it doesn't feel that, you know, you look at albums like this and it doesn't feel that what you should be holding is 40 years old, over 40 years old. But
and even if you listen to them, it doesn't feel like a 40-year-old. No.
It doesn't feel like that. Yeah, some sort of weird stretching of time. Anyway, yeah, there were a few highlights. I've got others as well, but there were some of the highlights that I was enjoying today from the fair. So, have you got some records to show, Michael? You're going to show?
Yes, we have, because Thomas brought some very special records with him to listen on the equipment here. And come on, show something. I make us big now, and you enjoy that.
I'll watch. I'll just sit back and enjoy.
Show something if you want.
Yeah, I think I wanted to bring something that Michael maybe didn't know, and maybe didn't know the music that was on those records.
That's correct, I didn't.
And I will show a few of those that we have been listening to today. And one of them is this one.
Ooh. Black Renaissance.
Yeah, it came out on a Japanese label, Bay State, which is a small label who only did like maybe 15 different records. But this one, for me, is a masterpiece that I love to play out.
Wow.
And it sounds amazing.
Is it, Thomas? What sort of music is it? What style?
It's jazz, sometimes spiritual jazz.
It's an unbelievable, beautiful record. And maybe, Thomas, this is important. This record, you only have a few copies because they have to turn it off the market because they forgot to mention.
Yeah, there was an American guy playing on who was like the leader of the record, and they forgot to mention him on the cover and on the record. So it was taken off the market. So there was only a few copies putting out.
It's a wonderful, wonderful spiritual jazz record, and you know it only has one song on each side. And yeah, what amazing record. And
a small label here.
Wow. What year is it?
1977.
You know, the problem is I cannot recommend it because you cannot get it.
You can't get it. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah. I think there was like 300 copies out at that time, and
then no more after that. They pulled it, did they? And then that was like, yeah.
I saw it once on Discogs and I bought it right away because I looked for it for many years.
Is it the sort of? Has it ever been I'm curious. Has it been reissued? Because you know, there's a lot of people out there, like in the jazz world, that look for these rare, really rare jazz albums, like you know, on the spiritual side as well, and then we'll do a reissue of them. I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Records, they just did the reissue.
Oh yeah, so I think it's been reissued 2 or maybe 3 times now for Record Store Day. So,
okay.
But this is not the one where they only have the CD, right? That was a different.
No, I can show that after.
Okay.
Very nice, lovely cover as well.
Amazing.
And, I love every time I play it. It's you hear something new in it. It's weird, spiritual, funky. It has everything for and it sounds amazing on Michael's equipment down here.
Wow.
Oh, that was a highlight. Yeah, that was a highlight.
This one, I don't think ever been sold on the internet.
I've never seen that. Wow.
It's Italian library music. It's been reissued, but the guy who reissued it didn't have the album or anything. But so I think he did it out of a cassette or something from that time.
Wow. So what's that? Is that like sort of jazz? I mean, like the whole world of library records is very, very deep, very interesting. There's loads of them. There's loads of them over here in the UK, and I see some of them. I've got a few, but it's very interesting. It's a very, very specific area. And some of them are super rare. I mean, obviously, I've never seen that one. Being Italian, what is the music? Is it jazz?
It has a really jazzy feeling through all of it, but it could sound like Morricone feeling to it. Yeah. Some tracks feels like it could be from a famous Western movie,
spaghetti Western, but really, really good.
But the guitar is so it sounds something like you never heard before.
Wow.
It's worth checking out. Yeah. The tracks are really different on it, but
again, it's got a lovely cover as well.
For sure.
Very cool. Look at that. I like the way it changes on the back. Yeah, that's very cool.
The color change. I can see and the label is here.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. Wow. Roman Record Company. Yeah, there we go.
Have you ever been into this library records, Dave?
I have. I've had a few. In fact, like I said, I've got some. I've got a couple of interesting ones. I mean, there's some famous labels over here like Chapel and DeWolf, and they made loads of library records. A friend of mine acquired a huge collection of over 1,000 library records, and he was picking out all the sort of really rare ones, because there's certain sort of rare jazz musicians that appear on some of these session records, for library music. And I've got a couple of interesting ones. I've got one here actually, which has got, it almost sounds identical to a track of Future Sound of London Lifeforms. It's because they basically did the entire thing. Yeah, and it's one of the tracks, yeah. And I'm like, I can't believe that. And it's because these library records are so obscure. They were basically made for use on commercial film projects and what have you, and various commercial settings. That they never really got out. But now, they were revered as from there's people that collect these like crazy. And there's certain labels. My friend, when he got them all, you could see if you have all the spines, it said the label name across them, and he literally got an entire run. And I was looking on the shelf, I didn't realize that if you had the whole lot, you could see them written across.
Oh, that's brilliant.
But yeah, they do turn up, and they tend to turn up. I mean, they're very rare, but when they do turn up, they tend to turn up in quite large batches. because the way people bought them, they had them in studios and stuff. They tended to have a run of them. You see, so you know, it's not often you just find one on its own. If you find one, you'll probably find 50.
That's the truth.
I prefer to find 50 than one if they are all that amazing.
No, but if you do find them, it's best just to buy the whole lot and then work out afterwards if you've got some of the gems in there with those, you know, classic little snippets of amazing. You know, there's a lot of sort of exotica collectors here in the UK that, you know, they look for these really funky breaks and tracks off library records, and that's what they're looking out for. Just these little snippets of things. And they were sampled a lot as well. People would take, you know, like I said about the Future Sound London, but there's loads of other examples where they would sample little sections out, and you'll hear it in very, you know, other much more famous tracks. And you know, people are trying to sort of piece them together of where they got them from these library records. So yeah, it's a huge scene. Yeah. But it's very hardcore scene. People are fanatical about it.
And some of them, as you already said, and Thomas said it too, that some of them are so difficult to get. Oh
yeah, massively. You know, that you've got to think they probably didn't make. They weren't like records for the consumers. You know, for the general public. They were done for a reason, and that's for professional use. And because of that reason, they probably didn't make. I mean, I can't tell you exact numbers, but they wouldn't have made. You know, it's not like they're pressing thousands for the
and they haven't been in the charts, I can imagine.
And that's what, so that's why they're rare. You know, they're rare. Very nice. So what else have you got? I think the next one's going to excite me.
You want to see some Danish?
This is
This is we heard this one today. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Thomas, I take it that's the original, yeah?
That's original, yeah. It's been reissued by a Japanese label in 1997, I think. But this is the original from 1965.
Yeah, that record is very, very wanted. I know people that want that big time. That record.
It's she have lived in Denmark for a while, and he made quite a few records in Denmark. There's one more, even more look for on the debut record that he did.
Right.
But I think this one is the best one. It's with the best Danish musicians that you can find. They were playing with the Danish radio jazz group. On this record, you have all the big names that were from Denmark.
That's super. That's really. I mean, I've never seen that record. I have, you know, with Sahib Shihab, I've seen the jazz party one on Philips, which again is a very nice record. You know, I love that sort of thing. But that one, you know, I've never seen in reality. So it's nice to see it. It's nice to see it.
I had the honor to listen to it, and it sounds amazing. And you know what, Dave? Sam Records is doing a reissue in December.
Do you know what I've got to say? Are they? They're going to do okay. Well, it makes sense. I've got to say the Danish. I've got to tip my hat to the Danish, because the Danish created the Lyric and Audiophile. So they created one of the best lathes in the world to cut records on. So that I would imagine that record there that you're holding was probably cut on a Lyric, right? Because I mean that was a Danish company. So yeah. I can imagine the sound character. I know the sound characteristics, and I bet it sounds stunning.
I didn't know that with the Lyric. Maybe that explains why this saxophone Colossus was so brilliant.
Lyric would have been the lathe used in Europe. Main part, you know, they use Scully lathes over in the US. But over here, so in Denmark, those records, you know, a very good reason to buy Danish records is they'd have been using the Lyric lathe, which was the best. Yeah. And the same thing for some records, you know, from France and from Germany potentially. Although I think maybe the Neumann would have crept in, but certainly for that record 65, I would bet my flat on it. It was done on the Lyric.
I'll check it out.
It was a beautiful, amazing record. This one, yeah,
that's lovely.
The next one,
to me if you want to get rid of it.
Yeah, I got offered another copy 2 weeks ago, so it turns up, but it's not cheap anymore.
Thomas, I'm much more interested in the record you're holding in your hand now.
This is a Ethiopian jazz when it's best. It's
Thomas. I watched his. I was there 2 weeks ago at the Barbican in London, watching him do his Ethio jazz. It was amazing. It's some of the best jazz I've ever seen. I've seen him twice. Once about 6 years ago at the Roundhouse in Camden, but the Barbican in London he played. And I'll tell you something, it was beautiful. And I don't have this record, and it's one that's really high on my wants list. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think he lives in Paris now.
Does he?
So he's still touring a lot.
He must be. Do you know? He must be. I mean, he must be 80 something now. I mean, he was still. I mean, the way he was. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do after this. Yeah. I've got some videos that I took there on my phone. I'm going to upload them to the OBC, to the Jazz channel, so you can see.
Oh, cool.
I was quite close.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah, do that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think one day we can do a video with some of his stuff. I have, I think, all his records. And
have you got the first one, Thomas, on Armour?
Yeah, I got the first one.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
Have you got?
Sorry?
Have you got a spare one of that?
No.
No,
I have a spare one. I have an extra copy of this one.
Okay.
But he some of the things I have, you know, the ones with the animal sounds on.
Right.
So it's the same tracks, but it has animal elephants shout and weird things on it. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's actually his first record. I think is it 1971 or 72 that record came out? Or the Ethiopian Airlines. I mean, what an amazing look at the label name.
This one is 72.
72, yeah. So that was actually, if you look at the dates listing, that was actually the first one to come out. So I like the drum PCs on it now. Yeah. So we're going to go. Who's got a spare? Yeah.
Yeah. I have a spare, and the second one is in shrink, but it has on the back there's a tear on the cover, but it's another cover.
Let's see the label. Yeah, Worthy Records. That's it. It's an American record, isn't it?
It's American, yes. It's American release.
Yeah,
because
American.
we were talking about how can it sound so good if it's Ethiopian release.
Yeah.
Thomas, I'll tell you what it is, because if you notice on the record, on the sleeve at the bottom, it says Ethiopian Airlines. Yeah, I think what you'll find is the record was, and the reason I believe this is because for this record it was pressed in the USA, but it was something to do with Ethiopian Airlines, like kind of the music of Ethiopia, yeah, but pressed in the USA, right? Let's have a look.
Wait, I make us big again.
Brooklyn, yeah. So there we go. Yeah, so it was by Worthy Records, but so Michael, turn it round to the front and look in the corner. So where does it say there? So look, Ethiopian Airlines going to great lengths to please. Yeah, I wonder if that was a record that was done. It was some sort of promotional thing for Ethiopian Airlines, because you never see it. And the reason I say this is his record on Armour. Now, Armour records weren't pressed in Ethiopia; they were pressed in Greece.
Ah, okay.
All of them. Yeah, they Ethiopian record pressings. Yeah, they pressed those records in Greece. So it's just interesting to see that obviously they didn't have the facilities not like in Nigeria with Fela, that EMI went over and set up a studio over there to record African music. In Ethiopia, they didn't have this facility, so it had to be done elsewhere, and maybe with other connections like that. Ethiopian Airlines is almost like a partner to do it. So it's interesting that.
Oh, this was a highlight. Now comes a highlight. Oh, I love that.
Well, that's also a good record.
Yeah, it is a good record. Yeah.
Oh, I know this record. That's a spiritual jazz record, right?
It is a spiritual jazz Latin record. There's a lot of Latin tracks on it.
Yeah, a friend of mine's got this record. Let's have a deep look into it, because it's rare. I know it's damn rare.
And if you look it up on Discogs, it say this one is a reissue from 1966, 65.
Right.
But I think it's because it's silkscreen cover, and they made some with the black and white only.
That's beautiful. The cover's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's silk screen, and so they made probably a couple of the silk screen because this is a lot of work. And then they have the black and white version, which they know say this is the very first.
Right.
But this is the beauty of a record. Damn it! It's
got a very clean looking sleeve there as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice copy. It's on ESP disc, which has.
I love that label.
Yeah, they're always good sounding, and I think they did like 60 releases or something.
I've got the Albert Aya with the silk screen.
Yeah, that's amazing. Also, Sun Ra did a record there, and you find a lot of good things.
I released one of those into the OBC, which was in. Oh, look at that label. That is beautiful.
This is a label, Dave, right? This is a label.
Serious label, yeah. That is a serious label. So well, the design on it's lovely. Very simple, but very, very effective. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love ESP discs. Their sleeves are nice. They're quite thick, quite card.
It's heavy, hard cardboard. Yeah.
If you put them up, most are like, I think 9 out of 10 is black and white covers, but they always look like you can always see this at the ESP disc record, except from this one, that doesn't look like it.
Because it's a bad color.
You want to see more or get?
No, you can do one more, and then I'll finish off with a few more. Some other stuff that I'm going to go.
Because that was really, really special.
Some crazy stuff, yeah.
It's crazy, but good, crazy good.
Oh, look at that! That looks like a silk screen printed cover to me.
It is a silk screen printed cover, and I bought it from Colombia, but it's from Peru.
Peruvian.
Yeah, Peru. What do you say in English?
You say Peruvian to Peru?
Peruvian. Yeah, I like my coffee from Peru.
Peruvian. I learned something.
And for me, Colombia music was a new thing. I think a lot of it sounded a little bit like, it's fun, but it's not good. But then I run into this record, and suddenly a new inspiration came around for that kind of music.
Wow. I mean, it's a beautiful cover. Really, really stunning cover.
Yeah.
I want to see the other side of it.
That's just the back of it.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
I bought it as a mint copy, so that's what you. It was sealed when I got it, but I couldn't open it.
The record label look like.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Lado A.
So Thomas, tell me, is that again the music on this? Is it like a sort of Latin jazz style? What's going on? I don't know the record, so
yeah, I'm not really. It says a Colombian jazz feeling to it,
right?
So it has this sound that I think it's really popular now. The cumbia.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's that whole sort of that whole bossa nova stuff. The sort of Latin styles. Again, a very collectible. I went to Cuba once many years ago, and I was trying to search for records there, and they had state-funded, state-owned record labels like Urgem, and I was trying to find all these mad bossa nova records done by the state. Yeah, because they ran the pressing plant and the studio to put all this music out on, and I knew that they were hiding in Havana, and there was I was going around trying to find these things, but records like that, I mean, it's so rare.
And did you find something, right?
I found a little pile. I got chatting to people, and they, obviously they wanted to make some money. Go though. My mum's got some records. I'll bring them down to the market. It's like quite good. They're gonna they were going to do that, and I did pick up a few things, But that it'd be a mad thing to go and do a tour over in Latin America. Go to these countries like. I mean, the things you like. Look, you've got one in your hand there, so there's bound to be more, right?
Which one would you like to talk about?
Talk about this one. This is for Dave. Come on, this is for Dave. Trust me. Angola.
The Angola one, yeah, because that's we're talking African here, right? Let's do the Angola 72.
Dave, I just give my 2 cents and then I shut up again. The voice of this guy, he has a voice. It's unbelievable. Very rough, broken, yet brilliant. I've barely heard anything like this. So Angola.
Like it. When are we going to do our Fela Kuti special? Because I'll be able to break you on that.
Okay.
We'll just go through every single album.
You go and you can talk.
Bring them on.
I will. We'll do that. We're going to do a Fela special, and we're going to go through every single album. We'll do 4 hours worth. But anyway, tell me about this. It looks amazing. I love it.
I know you have the Fela Kuti that I really want, so it's not.
Well, we're going to have to talk then, aren't we?
But I think I have like 60 Fela Kuti albums.
Okay, good. That's pretty good going, Thomas.
It's a start, isn't it?
It's close.
Get it close, yeah.
Tell me about this album, because I love this. So Angola 72. What's the style? Is it sort of Afro high life, Afrobeat high life style?
It's a quite simple. It doesn't have the Afrobeat at all. It's more like a guitar and this guy is singing.
I find some of the music from Africa, there was quite a lot of rock bands over there, or like sort of a bit more. They were a bit more of a sort of fusion, So they had that high life, traditional style, but incorporating guitars, and I find that interesting as well. I mean, just looking at the cover, it's beautiful.
And I have good news. Thomas allowed me to do, of every record we listened to today, I made a 1-minute short so that you at least get an impression of the music. I will put them up on my Instagram and or the YouTube time by time. So you get an idea, because of course some of those records you're not able to listen to, right?
Yeah, they're things that you can't. Well, records like that you just never see in the UK. They're not things. Well, there's some really hardcore African dealers over here that deal in stuff. I mean, I went at the record fair yesterday. I saw 2 guys, and I know one of them. He's involved with Knitting Factory Records, and he's one of the guys that does all the Fela reissues. He's involved with all of that, and I saw him behind someone's counter going through this box, and I could see all these beaten up Afro beat records coming out, covers that were barely holding together, things that you've never seen in your life, kind of things, and you're like, that's meant, it's madness. All of this, you get into this, but you don't see. Whenever you see an African record with an amazing cover, you're already onto a winner, because the covers are always very bad. You have to have a different grading perception when it comes to African records.
I can show one here. I think Demon first made a very famous record, but then made one that you don't see that often as well. This one.
Oh, I don't. Wow, that looks interesting. Wow,
for me, this one is much better than the well-known one.
Right.
It has reggae, it has soul, it has funk, it has rock, and it put it all together in this one record.
That's just it's lovely.
You never know where it goes, but it always goes in a new and new sounding way that you haven't heard before.
Is this an African?
It's American release.
American.
Yeah. It's a small label called Parco as well. That
where's this label from?
America.
I was going to say, because it's shrink wrap, so shrink wrap is a sign of it being an American record. Generally, wow, that looks lovely. Yeah, roots and offshoots. It's got that classic American style label. Yeah, that's really, really cool. Nice.
They do a cover of I Put a Spell on You.
Right.
Which is like I think one of the best versions I heard. It's more jazzy, it's more rocky. It's amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Lovely.
that was quite an interesting day of listening to records, Dave.
I bet it was. I bet it's taking you right off, what you're normally.
It was not bad at all.
It's very off-piste, from what we're going right off the beaten track here. But it's a great place to go,
Yeah, I think what I'll just show some of the things you can listen to, but like this one is jazz from Israel.
Nice.
And it's funky and it's really good sounding. And
but it has a
feeling of
it has the feeling of Israel. They really it's amazing.
And again, a beautiful cover.
Yeah.
Beautiful cover.
The cover.
Wow, look at that. That's look. I just love that label.
Of course you do. And I love that you love this stuff, Dave.
I've got some mad thing. In fact, I've got some sort of mad Egyptian records and stuff. I've got some crazy records, sort of tucked away that I've bought over the years. I think we're going to have to do a real sort of esoteric, totally mental records from different countries.
And again, we're talking early 70s here, right?
Yeah, 72.
It's.
You got to remember, there were some funky dudes in all these countries making some mad music. Yeah.
And it's not easy. It's not easy to look it up because it's.
Yeah, this is.
Wow.
Is it on Discogs or is it not on Discogs?
It's on Discogs.
It's on Discogs.
Oh, it's on Discogs.
I don't think it's for sale on Discogs, but it has been sold twice.
Oh, it's one of those.
Month, Dave, all time.
When you find records that have never listed on Discogs, you've got something pretty rare.
Yeah.
I only really have that with classical, but obviously Thomas has it with his interest in jazz and stuff. So, I know this record. I've listened to. Is that on? Is it Nimbus West?
Yeah, it's a sub of the Nimbus West. Yeah, I'll show you here. Can't remember what it's called.
Oh, yeah. So
it's Umar.
Oh, right. Yeah. So because I associate it. You see. Yeah. So Nimbus Records. Yeah. See, I know this is a lovely record. It's a very beautiful record. The music.
It's one of the records that I put once a week, and that's only a few of those. I love to hear this one.
I've listened. I don't actually have that myself, but my friend has it, and I've listened to it around his house many a time, and it's really cool. Yeah, how cool is that?
It's Adele Sebastian. She plays the flute. It's a really nice journey.
I love these. I mean, this whole scene is very special, and that is really, really cool. It's like that looks like a lovely copy as well.
Yeah, it is, and I think all the Nimbus stuff is worth checking up because they have some really nice stuff on most of it.
I've got. Let me just have a quick look here. I'm sure I've got somewhere a very good one sitting here. I should have, if I'd have known we were doing this, I would have dug it out. But
of course you would have. You would have pulled out all your spare copies.
I know, but I've got. Oh, here we are.
Okay.
You know this? Dad's in company.
Yeah.
Oh, that beautiful jacket again. Look at this.
Yeah, so I try to collect everything that's in that area of music. It's
I'm pleased I pulled this out because you can't be doing all this without me at least coming back with something that's and another. This is a great Nimbus record. Yeah.
It is.
Look at that.
Nice
record. Hassan's Walk.
It's
Love
amazing.
Yeah. See, we're getting very. This is very deep stuff we're talking about this evening, isn't it?
Let's get deep. Come on. If we have the two of you together, let's get deep. Let's use the opportunity.
Yeah, see, but I know what Thomas's thing is, you see. So I kind of like it. Now that again, see, look at the cool cover on that one.
Yeah.
Infinite Spirit Music. Hey. Wow. Live Without Fear. Hey, that's a good. See again. So this is yeah. I mean, is this another? This looks like a Nimbus or a Strata East type thing.
Yeah, it's none of those. I think it's a small independent label.
And you will love the label, Dave. Look at the label.
Yeah, let me look at this. Wow, look at this.
The Sphinx.
Ancient Africa Records.
Yeah.
What year is that? 1980?
1977, I think it was.
79?
79, maybe it was.
Yeah, right.
No, it's 1980. You're right. It's started.
Yeah, see, I think yeah. So 1980. Yeah, I'm just curious. In fact, it's interesting that this. I'm just going back to that. This is 1983. This record.
Okay.
So, sort of looking at the timescales, because these records are amazing jazz records, but this came out after The Cure, 17 Seconds.
Yeah, exactly. I thought the same just to myself. I said, okay, 8. So now we are in the Susie and the Banshees area.
Yeah, see, at that time we were having all the sort of 80s thing happening in Europe, but still amazing jazz and spiritual jazz records were being put out in the US. Yeah, and it's good to sort of just get a bit of a handle on the whole time frames of everything and when things are going on. It's really interesting, So lovely.
Somebody said that Jazz Band made a reissue, but
Dom said that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's true. So
when you see the name Seeking a Thread, that's Dom. What he says is 99.9% true. He really knows this stuff.
Because I was like, was it Superfly? Yes, he knows.
Dom knows that.
I have the reissue as well, but this originally was only made in 1,000 copies.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And I was in a shop in New York, and one of the band members from this one came in and wanted to sell it.
Wow.
And I bought it directly from the girl, the singing girl here. It was her own copy.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
not the worst way of doing it, right?
The best one.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard about this record.
This just been released.
Oh, I know this. Yeah, I've seen Pharoah Saunders live in concert in about 1990, and I was very lucky because at the time I didn't quite appreciate what I was seeing. But that's on what's the I can't remember the label name. It'll come to me.
It's called India Navigation Records.
Sorry, what's the label name? Africa.
No, India.
India.
Navigation.
Indian Navigation. There we go. Yeah, that's a rare record. That's a very rare record.
I don't think it's as rare as you think, but because you see it, but in good condition, you don't never see it anymore. This one with the blue.
Wait,
yeah, the blue label.
Sorry, I made a mistake. Wait. I have to. Oh my God, I'm fumbling here. Give me 2 seconds. Here we go.
Look at that. Yeah, so it's the blue one. So
the blue one was the wrong color. It came out wrongly when they printed it. It should have been brown. So
brown.
The brown one is the right one.
Right.
So yeah. Then more rare than or it doesn't it.
This one is more rare.
This one, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And with the brown one, that's 2 different copies. They made it with 2 different labels. So one with this way label, and another one they did with a silver thing.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So it's not like some one is before the other one. I think it's the same.
Wow.
Okay.
I think that's what we had. I did bring this one for Nadine. I saw she was there. She was asking for soul, but I found an extra copy of this one.
You're going to get her excited, aren't you, in the chat by showing that?
Dave, one serious question now.
Yeah.
Would you consider this haircut for you?
What, for me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd need to get implants to do that, wouldn't I? Look.
Yeah, but I think, Dave, the more I see it, the more I think about it. Maybe that's just the side parts.
What, just here, just at the sides?
Yeah. We do that. We discuss this privately.
On the beard.
It's one of my favorite soul records. It has Three
No,
amazing
I
tracks on it.
didn't know this record. You know, I don't. You know, I like Soul Me, but it's not one that I know. So, oh look, well,
Nadine seems to know.
wow, yeah,
It's a wow. Okay.
Yeah.
wow.
It's not rare, but it's rare.
But it's rare and nice. It's a good record. We didn't listen to this one, by the way.
No, I'll
We
play
didn't.
it for you.
Is that for tomorrow?
Maybe tomorrow.
Breakfast, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but Dave, you still have also some records to show, right? If I didn't,
I was going to show because I it's not often, yeah. At this fair, I managed to get, you know, I like my early electronic music. You know, I was really into that whole scene in the early 90s. I was looking back, and I remembered I went to the Warp Lighthouse party where Balls of Canada played live. And it was in 2001 when they put the last time they ever played live. But anyway, I was reminiscing about all this. And yesterday, I got in and I bought the entire lot, a sort of archive condition collection of Aphex Twin records.
yes.
Yeah. So we've got everything's from 1992, which was the year where everything changed. Yeah. So I'll just show them. I'm going to put these into the store. Yeah.
Oh.
So and the condition is unbelievable on all of these. I saw them and I was like, okay, right. So we've got Didgeridoo on RNS. Perfect, yeah. We've got Xylem Tube, yeah. Now I've got all of these, but I'll tell you something. These records, they really don't turn up very often now.
Dave, I was prepared to hit heavy on every Boards of Canada, every Warp record, and every Aphex Twin I see on Den Bosch. You know how many I found and how many I got? 0.
See, there you go. I go to record fairs a lot, and I never see these. And then suddenly I saw the whole lot. You know, I'm talking about the early ones on this label. This is 1992 from Cornwall. Yeah, this Reflex this is Aphex Twin's Caustic Window from 1992. Yeah, unbelievable. And you know, I've never seen this out in the field. And then these copies turned up. I've got Joyrex J5, J4, and J5, both of them. And you know, these are unbelievably rare, very hard to find. And the whole, I went right. I'm taking the whole lot. And there's also again, I've got the complete set of Cosmic Commando records on Reflex as well. So I've got these three, the red.
Nice.
Yeah, these are all, you know, this early 90s, these are like over 30 years old now, these records. And they didn't make many back then. You know, this was before Aphex Twin became, amazingly popular and sort of one of the best electronic artists.
And you know what? And again, sorry to interrupt, and I do something I usually don't do, but in this case I do because I'm desperately seeking for it too. Again, Selected Ambient Works Part 2 on black vinyl. No chance. No chance.
It's just tough. It's really, really tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I listened to that today again, and every time I listen to it, I'm just like, what an album, you know.
What an album, and it gets better and better with the years. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I agree.
That was a find. All of this lot. Look at all of that original, and they've even got the original stickers. And I remember these stickers, because I think these were all bought from Fat Cat Records. Because I remember to see these stickers on records in Fat Cat in London. So I'm thinking that, you know, this guy was obviously a big collector and bought them, and he kept them perfectly. Yeah, so that's the way to do it.
But again, this is still only a fraction of his whole catalog, right?
Oh, it is, but it's the start of it. And that's
so difficult.
I love.
Yeah. No, that wasn't a critique. Don't get me wrong, not at all. But he has quite a catalog, and the 12 inches are very important.
That's just 1 year. You know, not everything I showed there is 1992, but you know, you got to think of everything that came after that. You know, it had massive success. But you know, I sort of remember going out in London at that time. You know, I saw him live, and it was a very underground scene at that time. And me and my friend, thankfully, he went. You know, and I'm so pleased that you look back on it and you go, "Wow, I was there." You know, and I was buying these records. And you know, I go and I've never seen a group of them like that together, and I was like, there we go, nice.
That's great, and we will see them in the OBC shop, right?
Yeah, I'll put them in there. Yeah, because I've got all of them myself, so these are going to go to some other people.
Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
That's great. I've got all the early Aphex, so nice, guys. Look, this has been mad. Look what we've done.
Yeah, it's quite some records, right?
I think some of the most serious records that's ever been shown on one of the street. You know, just going through all of those, all that mad jazz, the spiritual, you know, the Aphex, the lovely early, you know, the rock and a bit of the new, you know, post-punk new wave. It's just we get through so much stuff and really great information.
We will keep on doing so, right, Dave? And we will even put it up. It will get even more now, right?
I think so. Thomas, what we got to do? Let's do the fella one with you, with yours, me with mine. We'll just chat about them. We'll go through and we'll talk about what we know.
And what will be my part?
Sorry.
And what will be my part? I make you big, or I make him big. That will be.
Yeah, that's no. And occasionally you go, "Wow, that's amazing."
Oh, wow, that's great.
that will work great. The three of us, we could do it as a three.
We will do that for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to do.
And that will be the best information about fella anywhere, you know. So it'll be a good one.
And I would like to do this with maybe fella makes sense, of course, but also with African music in general, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a huge area. You know, and there's so many. Like I said, when I was at this fair, this scene, because I know the guys that are really on this, and I saw them, and they're looking. There's in fact, I wish I'd taken a picture because one guy he pulled out a little pile of about 7 sealed African, all the same record, yeah, but all sealed in shrink wrap, and it was a 70s record. And I saw the other guys sort of wincing a little bit and looking at them, and he's saying, "Oh, it's not a brilliant record," but you could tell that because they're all sealed, there were 7. He'd obviously found this pile of them that have never even been touched, you know. And you know what people are like in this situation? They're like, "Oh, it's not the best music on there," but really, he really wanted them. You know? Things come out of the woodwork. They get found in the most unusual of places. You know, I'm sure you find that, Thomas, that records just turn up, and you find, you know, and you're like, I can't believe that came up. You know, where I found it. You know, so one of those things.
I think I have a nice collection of African records that could be interesting that we could show at a point. But I would also like to do a reggae thing with you.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Well, you have really good stuff.
I've got some nice reggae. I've got a few silk screens and some stuff on Coxsone and, you know, Studio One and a few British Palmers. I'm quite interested in you know, because I was quite close with Jetstar, who are the big importers, and Palmer. You know, I actually spoke to Beverly Palmer, and Palmer records were brilliant. You know, and the stuff on the economy. I've got quite a lot of those, so we could do a nice little, you know, session of going through those.
I think I have all the Palmer except from 3 or 4.
Okay, maybe I've got one or two, the rare ones. Yeah, but they're great. They're great compilations, you know. So
and they're sounding good.
Yeah, and great sound. The cuts are nice. You know, the quality's good. In fact, you know, you get the jar pressings, the Jamaican ones, the JAs, and you know, when they did the British pressings of Coxsone's, they were superior sound, you know, cut wise. And I've got some of those where that you've got the British one compared to the Jamaican one. So, but I like the Jamaican. You know, the thing is, we like to get things of the point of origin. So it's nice to have those Jamaican pressings, isn't it?
But listen to the UK one.
Yeah, but you're right. You know, you listen to the UK.
Yeah.
You know what? I just listened to you two guys, and I just had a thought. I think I should get some seat belts, because I'm under the impression with you two, the journey I'm on will really speed up, and I need some.
We're at the top of the roller coaster.
Some protection.
We're there, and then it's going to go like this.
But there's so much good music in all categories, so it's like
I was so impressed with today's music. That was really quite something. And again, listening to those records on the original, listen to the original. That's quite something. That's
Brilliant.
really quite something. Yeah, that's for sure.
Very cool. That was a great session this evening.
It was. Thank you so much.
Nice.
See you next Sunday, Dave.
Yeah. I'm going Chelsea next Sunday. We might have to do it on a different day.
I talked to Abramovich and he will postpone the game.
Okay. Oh no, he's got he's
not Abramovich anymore, right?
The Americans now. Todd
You
Bowles.
see, if I would have called him now, it would be for nothing. Imagine that.
But we'll work it out. Don't worry. We could even let's work it. We'll work something out. All right.
No problem at all. Dave,
All
thank
right,
you so much.
Hey, lovely to see everybody. Lovely
Yeah,
to see
thank you so much.
Nice to meet you, Dave, and nice to meet everybody.
Yeah, great. Cool.
Comments.
Cheers, Thomas.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Bye.